Hi, can you guys hear me? Hi, Rahanat. Yeah, since there are only two people over here and it's already 6:01, should we wait or should I start? I think we can wait. Yeah. So, how is the other course? I mean, other session? How is it? Chiti's, the one Chiti is doing. You guys can speak up. I mean, you don't have to always type.
Fine, sir.
Yeah. I mean, is there a repetition? I'm not sure. I'm not checking what her questions are, but is there like are there kind of repetitions between us? Okay, yeah. Also, I would like to. I mean, I will anyways tell you at the end of the session, but since we have time right now, I'll tell you that the GATE Ecology and Evolution exams, the registration for that exam has started very
What, sir?
recent. GATE, GATE, Ecology and Evolution.
Sir,
So
what is GAT, sir?
No. So I've written that in the chat box. It's Gate Ecology and Evolution, and since you guys are, I mean, already being prepped for the ecology course, you might as well look into this exam, and the exam would be in February next year. So it would be a good platform for you if you have.
Sir, this is compulsory or
No. This is apart from NPTEL. This is not nothing to do with NPTEL.
okay, sir.
But since you guys are studying ecology anyways, I
Yes, sir.
think you should look into this exam. If you already have a master's, then it will be a good platform for you to for the PhD or something. If scope of this exam, you can Google that up. There, it's mostly what the ecology course is, and some part of evolution, but not deep. I mean, evolution's like very not superficial, but it's not very extensively evolution. It's mostly ecology. So, yeah. I mean, it's just a suggestion. I'm not saying, and this has nothing to do with NPTEL. I'm just saying, I think you can look into it since you guys are doing good in this course that way. Okay, it's 6:04. I'll start over. I mean, it's there are some 10 questions. I'm not sure if we can finish all of them. That's an interesting question, Rehan. Uh, so there's GATE, one option where you can apply for GATE. If you get a good GATE score, you can become JRF scholars, and in a lot of labs they accept GATE score and they will pay you based on the JRF scholarship. So that is one option. So a lot of labs are actually working on conservation and ecology and evolution in that sense. So that's one option. The other option is there's an MSc course conducted by NCBS. Um, NCBS MSc in wild wildlife conservation. That is that's a good option. You can do an MSc over there. They have a paid course. So I mean, it's not a it's actually based on scholarship again. So all of your everything, your course fees and everything is taken care of. Then there's another course in WII, again an MSc over there, WII Dehradun. So that's another course that you can look into. Both of these have now, I mean, they were alternate years, but since WII had to, could not admit students for 1 year, so now they have become together. So the admissions for this course have already, are already finished for this year. So they'll only be open next to next year.
आले
Okay. Yeah, next to next year. But otherwise, if you can score a good rank in GATE, a lot of options get open for you. You can use that score for the next 2 years and get into a lot of, I mean, a lot of labs accept GATE score that way. So, yeah, a GATE score below 50 would be really nice. Yeah. Okay. So now they have like 5 people. I'll just start with the first question. The question is on the screen. You guys can check and tell me the answer. Okay. So Rehanullah said answer is B. What do the others think? Okay, Krish has also said B. Dipali, Bharat, and Jyotimani, what do you think the answer is? Since there are only 5 people, I'll be able to target it. I mean, the questions can be targeted to a particular person. So, Deepali and Jyotimani, why do you not know the answer, or like, what is it? Do you think? I mean, you can take a wild guess. There are only 4 options. Okay. All right, so we'll move on with this question. The answer is actually B. So, thalamus species is actually pushed towards the high tide zone because of the competitive nature of balanus species, and that's why once the balanus species are removed, thalamus species can actually move on till the low tide and they can cover the entire rocks. So their realized niche is what you see on in the diagram, the brown arrow. But if you remove the balanus, then the fundamental niche can range from the high tide to the low tide. I suppose everyone is okay with the answer. So we'll move on to the next question. Yeah. It's not more of a question, it's more of a, if you know the answer, probably you might be able to get it. Krish says A. What do you think the others think? What do you think is the answer? So Soligas are a tribe in BRT Wildlife Sanctuary in Karnataka, and they have been doing this early season burning for a really long time since they had established in that. I mean, their tribe, so they have established like thousands of years back, and they've been doing this early season fire for a really long time. But after 1970s, when once the BRT became wildlife sanctuary, burning of forest was stopped, and that led to a rapid spread of lantana. So below are some of the below are the statements that may give you the answer why the lantana spread and why is it bad. Anybody else? What do you think?
Sir, lantana is an exotic invasive species.
Yeah.
The upset of fire might have induced the spreading. There is no control measure for lantana, so that it can spread and affect the other vegetation in that area.
Okay, so that's what the initial hypothesis was. Like a lot of invasive species depend on fire for their spread. Like Acacia mearnsey, for example, the one that is invasive in Shola Sky Islands, like over here in Kodaikanal and Munnar. They have this property where a fire can actually induce germination of seeds and the spread of the invasors. But what the study says, and you can look upon this study that I mentioned, Tekekaras, and then there is Bharat Sundaram's study. So both the studies say that yeah, that lantana is actually negatively related to fire frequency. They are controlled by fire. Do you get my point? So the seedlings the seeds are actually they become invalid once fire touches them. So unlike the other invasives, so all of the above is the answer. Like once the fire was suppressed after 1970, there was a widespread there was like a widespread dissemination of lantana across the BRT. Then if there have been fires, then they have been realized to be negatively correlated to the lantana cover change. And then there was another thing. There was another thing that these forests, they are these dry deciduous forests, and they are partly like savannas in the Africa, where fire is like fire is like an annual event. So over there, the trees are not very much affected by fire, even if I mean, the barks are resilient and everything. So the trees grow back once the forest fire is over. I mean, grow back in the sense they start flushing, they start getting leaves once the fire is over, and they're not very affected by fire. So, and also, like in the case of BRT, they do not kill the seedlings as much because the roots are preserved and the roots come back again, and like very fast, in fact. So they grow back again. So fire is an important component of this landscape for the succession of the forest of Mudumalai and Biliranga both. So yeah, the answer is D. I hope everyone got it. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You can read the question and get back. Krish says C, Raihanul says C. Anybody else? Bharat, Deepali, Shashank, do you want to attempt? Yeah. Yeah, the answer is right. This climax at Shola in Shola landscape is actually a polyclimax where both forest and grasslands are the climactic stage for this landscape. It's a biphasic climax. So there are two phases. It's either a Shola forest or a grassland. So yeah, the answer is C. Cool. I'll move on to the next question. Yeah. Rehanu says B, 2. Bharat says C. Anybody else wants to attempt? How is the species diversity high, Rehanul, in 2? Krish says 2, C again. No, check the question again. Can you count the number of species? Shashank says A. Yeah, all are barnacles, yes. In 1. In 2 there are 4. So if you look at it, then there is a gooseneck barnacle, there's a thatched barnacle, there's an acorn barnacle and mussel. So there are 4 species over here. In the second picture also, in the second picture, in the second picture, there's again mussel somewhere over here. Then we have sea stars, this orange thing that you see, then anemone, and then the seagrass over here, the green one. So there are again 4 species. So if you look at it, the species diversity is the same for both of them. There are 4 species in 1 and there are 4 species in 2. Okay, so basically both have the same species diversity. I have asked this, which do you think will have greater diversity? So it could be anything, species diversity or functional diversity or phylogenetic diversity. C option is 2 has greater functional diversity, which is actually true. If you look at it, A has only barnacles and they perform very similar kinds of functions, right? But in the second picture that you see, sea star, anemone, mussels are totally different looking. They're different. They have different functions. They eat different things. Seagrass, on the other hand, is a producer, it's not even a consumer. So the trophic level itself is very different. I think in some of these C star is a secondary consumer, so it actually eats primary consumers. So the trophic level, at the trophic level itself, there are two. I mean, there's a greater diversity over here. But whereas in panel one, the trophic level, I think, are very similar. So you get why C is the answer, because 2 has greater functional diversity. But if you're just looking at species diversity, both are similar. Do you get the answer? People who have not said the answer is C.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, just one doubt. In the first, there are 5 species.
No, 4.
Not 4.
4 species. There's a.
Achha, that is acorn barnacle. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
acorn
okay.
barnacle. Acorn is yeah. Cool. All right. I'll go to the next one. Yeah. Okay, a little bit of explanation for this. So when you are sampling a region, you'll note down the species as well as you'll note down the abundance of the species. Abundance would be the count of the species. So there could be like 5 crows, 2 pigeons, 3 mynas, etc., etc. So rank abundance is basically, species rank is basically how many. I mean, it's depending on the number of individuals of that species. So if there are more number of crows, so that would get the species rank as 1. If there are the second rank goes to the other bird, which has just the next number of so suppose in a community they have 5 crows, 3 pigeons and 2 mynas. So crow gets the first rank, pigeons get the second rank, and mynas get the third rank. Are you with me till now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So species rank is based on that. So what you see on the x-axis is the species rank. So basically, species rank, the x-axis will tell you how many species are there. So 0 to 80. So this stops at somewhere around, 70, 75 or something. So that is the number of species in the pink line or in the red line. In the green line, it stops somewhere around 57 or something. In the orange line, it stops around 38, 37, whatever. And blue line, it stops at 30. So now you get the species richness of these habitats from the species rank. Okay. And then there is this abundance that the log of abundance. I mean, it can be abundance as well, or it can be log also. It depends on how many number, like what is the range of the number. If it ranges from 0 to 10, then you can easily do it with abundance. But if it ranges from 0 to 1000 or something, then you'll have to use log over there. So species rank is on the x-axis. What is on the y-axis is the number of individuals of that particular species. So suppose the crow that I gave you an example has 5. So it'll come first over here, first rank crow, and then 5 would be the abundance over here. So then you have a second rank, I said pigeon, then pigeon was 3, so it'll come somewhere around 3. Then the third rank was myna, so 3, and then it has 2 individuals, so it will come like that. So like this is how the line is created. Okay, so this rank abundance curve is good to visualize both the species richness and the species evenness. I hope everyone remembers what evenness is, like how evenly are the species distributed in a community, right? So, right, we discussed about that in like few classes before. Yeah. Okay. Do you want an explanation of species rank again? Ah, okay. Did everyone else get what species rank is? So there are like I said, if there are three species in a community, the crows are five in number, the pigeons are three in number, and minus are two in number. So the crows get the first rank, pigeons get the second rank, and minus get the third rank. That's very as simple as possible, right? So if there are more species, then they'll get their ranks accordingly. Okay, and then so they are ranked. Their ranks come in the x-axis, and in the y-axis their number of, I mean, so if the crows are three, then y-axis would be three, and if crows are pigeons are crows are five, pigeons are three, then y-axis would be three, and minus are two, then y-axis would be two. Okay, so over here, what I'm saying is where is the species evenness the least? Okay, so when we look at a rank abundance curve, the steeper the curve is, the steeper the curve is, the least even it is, because there would be some individual which would have a very high abundance, and most of the other individuals will have very low abundance. So that will give you a very steep curve. If the curve is not steep, that means that there are some with high numbers, but the others are like not very far back. They are just there. I mean, so right. I mean, and did you guys understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Deepali says answer is B, and she's right. Yeah. So B is the answer. I hope everyone got it. Did Did you get it, Shashank, Krish, and Jyotimani?
This just one thing, just that for we have like five things here, five scenarios here.
Yeah.
So as the abundance, because as the abundance is log is there, log of abundance they have taken obviously. So
Yeah.
as the abundance is going down
Huh.
and the species rank is increasing, so the least increase in rank is in urban. So in that case, a little bit on evenness. Can you just tell me evenness
Okay.
how it is?
Okay, evenness is basically so there are let's take a crow or myna example only. So there are 25 individuals, 25 animals, or 25 birds in a community. Okay, total. Out of which there are 12 crows. Okay, I can't do the calculation. Actually I have a, just a sec. I'll go to that. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you see this, the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, the slide, there are 5 species over here. Macaw is 5, butterfly is 12, capybara is 2, sloth is 5, and jaguar is 1. Okay? So, that is one way of one type of community. Okay? There are 25 individuals over here, and they are distributed like this. Okay? But the same thing can happen like this. Do you get the difference now? They are equally distributed. Yeah? Do you get the difference, Sashank? Over here, the butterflies are high in number and jaguar is very low in number. Okay? So if you're
Yes, sir.
if you're giving a species rank, then butterfly would be rank 1, sloth and macaw would be rank 2 and 3 based on whatever. I mean, you can 2 and 3 could be after that you can do alphabetical or whatever. Then capybara would be rank 4 and jaguar would be rank 5. Okay, over here there's no rank; they're all equally distributed, but you can still give them alphabetically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it would be a straight line, right? The rank abundance curve then would be a straight line,
Okay.
right? But in this case, the blue morpho butterfly, sorry, just a sec. If we are supposed to make a, if you are making a curve like this, then the blue morpho would be on top like this. Then would be sloth and macaw. They'll both be flat. I mean, the line would go like this, and then capybara one more down, and then jaguar. So it would be a cascading line like this, which goes down. Otherwise, in this option, the line would be like this. I mean, this is not possible exactly. I mean, none of the communities would show such numbers. But I'm just saying, so this is more even. This situation is more even, and this situation is less even. So the evenness index of this would be less, and the evenness index of this would be the high. It would be very high. Are we clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's why when we so that's why over here when we look at the urban situation, there's one species which is really very high. So this is log 10 abundance. So basically it's in the order of 10,000 somewhere. This number is 10,000 somewhere. And the other species, there's a drastic difference between the first and the second species. I'm assuming this is the first species and the second species is this. So then that would be 10 to the power of 3. That is 1,000. So the first species is in the is in the ballpark figure of 10,000. The second species is in the ballpark figure of 1,000, only 1,000. So that is like 10 times less than the first species. Then further you go down, the last species is somewhere around 10 or something. Yeah. So, but over here in species like forest, say for example, there is one species which is in 1,000. Then there is the second species which is somewhere around 600, 700. Then there would be a third species, fourth species, all in the same, and they don't go down to hundreds till, I don't know. This is like what 8 or 9, till 8th rank or 9th rank, right? And then there's like a continuous, then all the species that follow after 8th and 9th rank till 20th rank have very similar numbers. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, sir. We
Yeah.
got that log thing. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So okay. So basically, the steeper the slope of rank abundance curve, the less the evenness of that community would be. So this would mean that the urban over here has least species evenness. Are we clear? Shall I move ahead then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. This is your next question. Okay, most of you are saying B. 4 of you have said B out of 8 people. Interesting. Okay, what are colonizers? I understand people, I get it that people understand competitors, but what are colonizers? They are the ones that colonize a barren land or something. So, in succession, what happens is the barren land is taken by lichens or something, or grass or something, and slowly the lichens turn into a grass. Then the grass community turns into shrub community. Then the shrub community turns into tree community, right? So tree community are usually
Yes, that's
tree community are usually the climax species, right? So
yes.
So that would mean that the lichens are, I mean, the colonizers are the pioneer species. So they are, so the colonizers, the first species that come in a barren land, they're usually good colonizers. And the last are usually not good colonizers, but they're really good competitors. Do you get my point?
Yes, so then
Sir,
we will be the
but during ecological succession, sir, every successive community is colonizing the previous community.
Yeah.
So in a way, then the Climax community is also a good colonizer. Then.
No, no. So a good colonizer would. So I mean, okay. So the capability of colonizing is also depending on what they are colonizing on. The lichens actually colonize in a very barren land where there are no nutrients. They colonize on rocks. Okay, so you have to understand that. Like, where are they colonizing? Till till you get to the climax species, there is already so much abundance of soil and nutrients and what microclimate and climate, everything is already good. So they're not colonizing a very barren land as such. So if you put a seed of a very good climax species in a barren land, it won't be able to colonize that because there are no nutrients, there are no soil. Do you get my point? What I'm trying to get at?
yes.
Yes,
So
sir. Now I
actually, the
got it.
species changed. Actually, I was wrong. Actually,
Yeah.
the species completely changed. So A will be the answer in that.
Yeah. So the climax species are good competitors, definitely good competitors. They can compete with pioneer species and push them out, but they are very poor colonizers. So if the land is barren and their seeds are or their propagules are put in a barren land, they won't be able to survive. In a barren land, it's only the pioneer species that can actually take over. So now do you understand the difference and do you understand why it's not B or C? It's A. The answer is A. Okay?
Sir, but invasive species are good colonizer.
Yeah, invasive species are good colonizers, yeah. And they're also good competitors, yeah. But they are a different ballpark. I mean, let's not go over there. I mean, they have a different kind of a, yeah. I mean, all this the succession when we talk about usually we are talking about native species succeeding one after the other. We don't usually bring in invasive species in the whole equation. It's only after now that people are starting to bring invasive species in the equation, but then that's a totally different kind of calculations and stuff like that for that. So for now, when we are just looking at the introduction of ecology, I mean, I think this you can understand this much is, I think, okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, next. Dipali and Devesh say D. Krish is saying A. Shashank is also saying A. C. Okay, people who are saying A and C, why do you think other options are not fitting? Why do you think they are not the options, good options?
Sir, I feel A and B are correct, but C, I think that they are light demanding. So, just now you said that pioneer species they can grow in a very hostile environment.
Yeah.
So, if they are light demanding, then that is a favorable environment. So, like.
Not exactly, no? I mean,
No, sir.
lichens and grass, they all depend on open areas to grow. Lichens, grass, even some shrubs for that matter. Like the one that you see over here in the picture is rubus species. They are shrubs and they grow at forest edges but are not very good when they go to forest interiors in the shade. Um, uh, Climax species are mostly shade demanding because yeah, I mean it like if you look at it this way, so climax species, the seedlings and saplings, uh, they are able to grow under the parent tree themselves. They are able to grow in the shade themselves. So once the parent tree dies, the one that take over are again the same species. That's why they are the climax species. So they don't change that much. Do you get my point? Like eventually, yeah, eventually the trees of the forest would die, right? So the parent tree would die, and by the time the parent tree dies, the seedlings and saplings, which can grow very well in the shade of the parent tree, will grow enough to take over the parent trees eventually. So the cycle continues, and the climax remains stable in that sense. Like this is a very general way of looking at it. So climax species are not light demanding, but they can very well tolerate shade, whereas the pioneer species are extremely light demanding, and they most of them cannot do very well in under shade. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so the answer is A.
What's about option B?
Option B.
B.
B. Ornithochorus is basically Ornitho is bird and chorus is dispersal. So bird dispersed seeds. So they'll have like in the example that you see on the this thing. It's a rubus. So it's one of the species that you find over here in Shola forest. So they have like tiny seeds and tiny fruits. Like all these globules that you see are like tiny fruits, like mulberry, and they are very I mean they are eaten by birds of this region, and then the birds go to some other region and defecate and they help in the germination of the seeds that way. So yeah, pioneer species usually have very light and edible and fleshy fruits, which are light and small and fleshy fruits, because they are good for them in the sense that birds can actually disperse them to further regions. So yeah, so actually all of these options are true for pioneer species. Pioneer species can be wind dispersed, can have bird dispersed bird dispersal as well, and they are light demanding. Did you understand, Devesh? What is ornithochorus?
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, eighth question. Devesh says B, Shashank says B. Krish says B. Piraihanal B. Dipali B. I think everyone got it. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you get the answer, you get the answer. So zero seer is where there is some water deficiency. Lithosphere seer is on a rock. Hydrosphere is in water. Samosphere is in sand. So it's as simple as that. So I think I don't want to dwell on this question more. I'll move on to the next question. I think everyone got the answer, right? B. Yeah. B is the answer, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Shashank, Devesh say A, Krish says D. Bharat says A. Okay, so people who have said D and B, sorry, no, only D. There's only Krish who has said D. Everyone has said A. Okay, so I'll explain what active and passive restoration is. So, like in the like in the definition that you've already seen in the question, passive restoration is basically restoration of a forest. The site could be either a plantation, or it could be a barren land, or it could be like an abandoned grazing, abandoned agriculture field, or something like that. And how does the restoration happen? So basically, all the stress, the environmental stresses, such as the cattle grazing and agriculture, are removed and stopped and banned from happening, and it is and the land is left abandoned. And then colonizations, like colonizers, like your pioneer species and secondary succession, can actually naturally happen. So pioneer species will take over. They'll first form a community, then later on the climatic species will come and take over. So that's how it happens, and that is the passive restoration. In active restoration, what you do is, this is like a slow process. Obviously it is slow process. It takes a lot of time. In active restoration, what happens is, what are the species, right? What are the species that is supposed to grow where. Like if it's a if it's a species that grows next to a water channel or a stream, because it requires a lot of water, then you have to know what species that is. Or if it's a species which can only grow next to rocks, and like or on a slope, then you'll you have to know the species that goes where and what, like distribution exactly, where which species. So you have to know a lot of knowledge about which species would go where and thrive where. So that's why in active restoration you need a lot of knowledge about your ecosystem that you're trying to restore, and also it's a fast process. It's faster, definitely faster than passive restoration, but it's actually a very labor intensive. You need a lot of people to dig the soil, plant the sapling, seedling, and obviously it is very expensive because you have to pay the laborers, you have to pay for the seedlings and saplings that you procure. You have to have nurseries where you are actually grow, or if you can't procure them, then you have to set up a nursery. So it is a very expensive process. Okay, so I hope everyone got like why passive restoration is slower than the active restoration, but it is not more labor intensive. All you have to do is cut off the stressors from the land, and keep. I mean, once in a while you have to keep removing the invasive species out or something like that, and it is not very expensive. Active restoration is extremely expensive, and passive restoration, you might have to know the species, but you might not have to know I mean the detail of the species, where they can grow and where they can thrive, etc. For that, if you're doing active restoration, then you definitely have to know what species goes where, because then I mean, if you don't, then you can actually lose a lot of money, because some species which can grow only next to a stream have been planted in rocky regions or something like that, and you will lose a lot of money that way. So I hope everyone got it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, what's about sapling and seedling?
What's the difference between sapling and seedling?
Yes, sir.
Seedling is basically like just when the seed germinate and come out, so that's the seedling. So that can be like less than 5 centimeter or something. Saplings are usually like once the seed has come out, the seedlings have. I mean, I don't know technicality, but yeah, they can be about 10 centimeters or higher, and yeah, so like a month or so after seedling stage is they become saplings. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, the last question. Okay, so Rehanul says A, Shashank says A, Devesh says C. Anybody else with any other answer? C. Okay. So the answer is A. C is not the answer. So, okay, so wind dispersed sea is very easy to understand, like grasses and some of the trees that have wind dispersed sea. They can spread far apart and they are in large in numbers. That's very easy to understand. Water dispersed seeds again, like they can be spread at a larger distance, and yeah, some water dispersed seeds, they can have both less in number. Less seats in number or more seats, but yeah, that's not the point. And yes, there is a different, there's a confusion between A and C for a lot of people, but the answer is A. It's not C, because since small fruit eating dispersers would target smaller fruits, so they are generally they happen to grow on trees in larger numbers. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like larger fruits.
Sir, its fruit size are what?
Yeah, fruit size. So fruit size and the fruit dispersal size as well. The bird size as well, or bird or mammal or whatever. A smaller bird wouldn't target a large fruit, right? A large bird can target a large fruit, whereas a small bird can target a small fruit, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, the rubus that you saw in the previous example, it's one of the pioneer species, and you see the small fruits, and they are usually targeted by smaller birds itself, like the laughing thrushes and the Nilgiri not flower pecker, Nilgiri flycatcher. These are the birds that actually target these fruits. They're not very popular with larger birds. Okay, similarly, there are other species like your myristica with jadika. Nutmeg, if people know it. Now they have larger fruits, and they are targeted by larger birds like hornbills and all, right? So they are the dispersers of the hornbills are the dispersers of nutmeg. So they'll be dispersed at larger distance definitely, but the fruits are less, also the dispersers are also less. So generally what happens is them getting dispersed would be very less in number as compared to smaller fruits getting dispersed. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir. I get.
Yeah. All right. So this is all for today. There's one last slide that I have to show you. This is for people who have been attending the discussion session, and so this is GATE, Graduate Aptitude Test in Engineering. It's not just engineering. There are a lot of things over here, but the link has just opened, so you can apply for it, and it's good for like it's saying, it's a qualifying GATE score can be used to seek admissions into MSc and PhD programs across the country, and you'll be able to get your JRF scholarships and stuff like that once you get into these programs. So it's a good thing, since you guys are already doing this ecology course. It would be good for you. Yes, Shashank, you have to say something.
So is there any age bar? Because my age is like
No, I don't think there's
34
an
and
age.
doing
I don't think there's an age bar.
MSc in Nalanda, so is no age bar, right?
MSc in wildlife courses in NCBS and WIA, I don't think there's an age bar. Or also for GATE, there is no age bar, I suppose. Yeah, because I think
for PhD
I gave it in when I was 32 or something. So
okay.
yeah, so yeah, I think you should apply for it. I think there's a fees. In my time, it was 1,000. I'm not sure what the fees is right now for this.
More than like 1,500, 1,800 something.
Yeah, something of that sort. So yeah.
Your MSc, sir, is from NCBS or Pondicherry University?
Pondicherry University.
Okay.
Okay, Devesh, we can talk about ourselves a little later. Right now I have to catch a bus, so I have to end the call.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, bye. See you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you.